take two since my first one was not long enough, and I added a couple of things. So the documentary I watched was American Factory. It was on Netflix. It follows what happens when Chinese company reopens a closed General Motors factory in Dayton, Ohio. It highlights the clash between American and Chinese work cultures, their different values around labor, and like the struggles of workers trying to adjust to new expectations. What stood out the most to me was how globalization and capitalism directly affect everyday people. Workers who just want stable jobs and respect, but they're caught between corporate profit and cultural misunderstanding. So, the most significant social problem addressed in the film American Factory is labor inequality and worker exploitation. I still can't say that word. As companies prioritize profit, workers face unsafe conditions, low wages, and job insecurity. This problem connects to other issues such as income inequality, loss of union power, cultural conflict, and the decline of American middle class. So when companies move production overseas or adapt harsh productivity standards, it ripples through communities. It reduces job stability, weakening families, and destroying local economies. The social institution most impacted in this documentary was including like economy, government, workplace. Economic institutions drive decisions based on global competition, while government struggles to balance attracting foreign investment with protecting workers' rights. The family is also affected when workers face long hours, stress, or layoffs, so they don't get like paid, or they're getting laid off of a job, so they don't have a job anymore. Institutions like labor unions and government labor agencies have the power to influence change, but the documentary shows these forces often clash with corporate interests. So, looking at manifest and latent functions, or like the unintended and intended functions, the intended, which is manifest, function of reopening the factory was to create more of those jobs, like to create more jobs for people to go, to boost the local economy. But the unintended or the latent outcomes were cultural tension, unsafe working conditions, and frustration among employees who felt devalued. So they weren't getting paid enough to feel valued, or they were getting like used in their job. Some safety laws and labor standards exist to protect these workers, such as OSHA regulations and unions advocating for fair treatment, but enforcement remains inconsistent and corporate influence often limits real progress. So the question I have is, how can workers' rights and cultural understanding be protected in a global economy where companies value efficiency over people?